Good evening, and welcome to Brian Destroys Everything on January 19th, 2021. Today, we're going to discuss the inauguration, these protests that the government was talking about that really didn't happen. And I'm gonna kind of end on the Mets and their GM being fired for sending a bunch of texts that no one read until they sent them to ESPN or wherever they sent them to. I'll get into it. But so tomorrow is the inauguration. Hopefully it will go smoothly. I mean, there are 25,000 troops in the Capitol, and a few of them have been removed for questionable ties and actions prior to today. A couple of them were actually removed for being white nationalists. And the others had just done a bunch of stupid shit, and they didn't, they got caught by the government and were sent home. Now, whether that affects their membership in the National Guard or not, that's up to the federal government. But because it was a background check, it likely will have ramifications further down the line regarding retirement status and the like, because the government takes their background checks seriously, and for people who don't follow those rules, they generally get punished in some way or another. Now, whether they'll lead to a court martial or not, well, we'll see. So the next item on the agenda, the protests that were reported to be brewing, the armed protests that were reported being brewing at state capitals across the country never actually materialized, although they may still happen tomorrow. You never know. But mostly, like, there's the one I read that was reported on was the one outside of Virginia's capital, which is, it was either yesterday or today. And basically, it was their day of freedom for gun rights. I can't remember the name of it. I'm not going to look it up right now. But 80 people showed up with guns, and there were more cops, by a lot apparently, than protesters. And the same thing happened in a few other state capitals that weren't reported, or that were reported on, and it was like, really? Again, something could happen tomorrow, but it's looking less and less likely. Something I will go into that I just read about. Apparently, someone set up a fake account on Telegram, trying to say he was the second in command of the Joint Chiefs of Staff's name of General Hyten, and this fake account was saying that they were going to declare, President Trump was going to declare martial law, and blah 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 blah. And I mean, 300,000 morons decided, oh, we like this, we want to see it, and it was apparently spread across Twitter and Facebook, and a lot of people got into that. And once they found out it was a fake account, they just dispersed like roaches when the light comes on. I mean, there are still people who follow this fake account, even though it's being dismantled as we speak. The rise in fake accounts and other dubious methods, including deepfake videos, deepfake BS, is that, we have come into another age of what was called in the early 1920s and 19 teens and 20s called yellow journalism. Now, I know journalists will bristle at the idea that they're passing on fake news, but it's ideologically divided. The news is ideologically divided. The news is often casually sourced, which means the sourcing isn't vetted. The sourcing and being casually vetted means that your reporting is very likely suspect. Now, I'm not trying to take the part of the Republicans, because right-wing news is so biased that they have no stones to throw. But we have gotten to the point where if it's considered newsworthy, anything will do. And that's problematic for journalists who follow the rules, vet their sources very well, and simply do their job. You work. I mean, I understand working on a piece for a year to find out that the person who gave you the information was not the person who they said they were. Is a pain, but it becomes difficult to really get behind an investigative journalist who has had problems with that in the past. It's difficult to be objective about the news when the news isn't objective. And so, I mean, like I said, we've gotten back to this, and it's truly, truly scary. And that's a problem. The fact that if we can't trust the people who bring us the news, then who do we trust? I mean, you have 70 million people who voted for Donald Trump, and 35 million of which who believe that the fucking moon landing was faked. Now, you might believe that the moon landing was faked, but it's unlikely. And so we've gotten to that point where journalism has become not necessarily untrustworthy, but you go, is that true? Let me find a different story that reports the same thing. And if you can't, then you go, well, we'll see. I mean, and you have to think like that. And when we get to where we are now, where we're having a divisive transition of power in our country, where we have a divisive, we have a group of individuals who claim to have power and using it to divide us further instead of galvanize us. And they subscribe to a different news source than you, especially. Then you go, what are they seeing that we're not? And people start to watch it. And the issue I have with conspiracy theories, and most of them just are harebrained, to be completely honest. You go, well, the issue I have with conspiracy theories is this. The simplest answer usually is the right one, And conspiracy theories often complicate this idea by providing you so-called evidence that what they're saying is right instead of the simplest thing being true. And so there you have it. And I won't give examples because I really don't follow that BS. I mean, the ones I've heard are so ridiculous, I just go, really? You believe that? And so you can't really, it's just not worthwhile. So tonight is going to be a short video, but I'm going to leave you with this. The New York Mets are a baseball team from New York, obviously, and they hired this guy named Jared Porter. Jared Porter got fired this week because he sent 63 texts to a woman who didn't respond to him. And the final one he sent was a picture of a penis, or at least so he says. Now, the fact that it is a penis, the picture is of a penis, is true. But he says, well, that's not my penis. Really? You're going to send 63 texts to a woman who hasn't responded to you. Excuse me, there's a fly in my face. You're going to send 63 texts to a woman who hasn't responded to you. And the last one you send is going to be of a dick that isn't yours. Really? Are you kidding me? I mean, and ladies, this is the danger of just not responding to some dude you gave your phone number to out of the goodness of your heart. They're going to do this shit. Seriously. I mean, I'm sure the conversation was, yeah, how's it going? I'm part of the scouting department of the Chicago Cubs. I might be willing to share information with you from time to time to help you on your journey to becoming a good journalist. And so this chick, her name was never revealed, but I mean, she's a journalist, so she gave him her phone number, and then he started sending her texts like, hi, how are you today? You know, you're really attractive. And then escalating until finally he sends her a picture of a dick. I mean, really? Are you fucking kidding me? And, you know, it's funny that this comes out now because apparently the fine people at ESPN had this information in 2017. Now, why this didn't come out till now, we'll never know, but it seems similar to me to the Monica Lewinsky situation. She was confused. She didn't know what to do. So she talked to somebody and they became involved in a way they shouldn't have. And all of a sudden, there it is. But I mean, really, if you're going to send a picture of a dick, it may as well be yours because you've already fucked up so bad that sending a picture of a dick that isn't yours is just dumb. And why the hell would you have a picture of someone else's dick? That's my final thought. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, click like and subscribe on the video. And I will see you Thursday. Have a great night.